Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. InsyaAllah, our group today, Muhammad Aziz Dul Mukri, Nur Ain Najwa Atika binti Rosdino, Nur Ashidah binti Muhammad Zain, and me, Umar Haris bin Osman. We will present about respiration. Reposition in hire purchase in Malaysia. For introduction, repossession in the term used to describe the taking back of property after the borrower has default on payment. The lender either repossess to collateral or pays a third-party service to do so. There are two types of loan, unsecured or secured. While an unsecured personal loan allows you to borrow money without providing collateral. A secured loan requires some kind of security and assurance that you will pay. When you take out a loan on a car, the lender knows that if you fail to make your monthly payment, it can repossess the automobile and sell it to mitigate the loss. Next. The legal authority. When you default on your hire purchase agreement, it means you have failed to fulfill your commitment to the bank. When this happens, the bank can repossess your car. Generally, repossession can happen when you fail to pay for 2 consecutive month payment or when you fail to pay your last payment. And in the case where the hire is deceased, a default in a payment for 4 months give the banks the position of the car. So be prompt in your payment or you might also have to pay penalty fees. If in any case you think you're unable to pay the installment, a good tip is to quickly contact your bank for a solution. Manner of repossession. Sometimes there are oppressive measure taken. For example, we have all heard about thugs sent to repossess vehicle or selling off the car in a way cheaper price. Of course, legal action can be taken if the repossession procedure are not in line with the Hire Purchase Act 1967. Ethics on repossession. Generally, repossession of vehicle can only be carried out by a registered repossessor. Repossessors are encouraged to other to the following ethics: no violence or oppressive oppressive means used to conduct the job. Hire must have sufficient notice about the repossession and given time to take his belonging from the vehicle. The purchase in charge of repossession may only enter the premise with consent of the resident. Next, I will give to my friend to continue.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Aziz Mukri bin Mak Japan. I will continue the slide presentation. Okay, how to deal with problem related to repossessions. Find a purchaser. You may introduce a buyer who is willing to purchase the vehicle according to the price prescribed in the notice you receive after repossessions. Consult the bank if you are facing financial difficulties. The bank may have the discretion to revise your monthly repayment to ease your burden. However, it's not obligatory for a bank to do so. Lodge a complaint or get advice. Say if you fall victim to the oppressive measures taken off if your rights have been wrongfully infringed during repossessions, make a complaint to the bank you have your hire purchase agreement with. You may also complain to the Associations of Hire Purchase Companies Malaysia to seek support. Hire purchase guarantors. In the case of guarantors, they are pretty much liable for your debt until the amount is completely paid off. Being a guarantor, he or she is tied by the hire purchase agreement like you, and is accountable to pay for your debt if you fail to do so. Right of guarantor under a hire purchase agreement, and a guarantor has the following rights: to receive a copy of the hire purchase agreement, to be free of any liability and indemnified against claim by the bank when the amount owed is fully paid off, or and to take legal actions against the hire for breach of obligations. The finding and discussions. Repossessions of hire purchase goods. The third part deals with the concept of repossessions of goods under the Hire Purchase Act. Under this part, the paper will address the safeguards that have been put in place both before and after repossession in order to protect the interests of the hire. This part of the paper will also address some of the weaknesses of the Act, especially in terms of protecting the interests of the owner. The Act seems to be overprotective of the hire compared to the owners. The fourth part focuses on the conclusions. These parts will embrace some recommendations, bearing in mind that a hire purchase form agreement greatly appeals to a hire because he is given possessions of the good as well as a period of time to pay by regular installment. Therefore, a balanced approach is needed in order to protect the interests of properties when the owner exercises his right to repossess the goods. Construction of the agreement. It was clearly the intention of the parties that property in the tractor was not passed to hire until the full payment was made. Therefore, it was not a sale on installment terms, but more in the nature of a hire purchase, which will give the appellant the right to the repossess of on breach of the terms by the respondent. In Credit Corporation Sdn Bhd, the Malaysian Industrial Finance Corp, and the High Court held that until the hire had exercised his options to purchase by paying the total amount and fulfilling all his obligations under the hire purchase agreement, no property in her car passes to the hire. Okay, I pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Naim Najib Tita binti Rasdina. Conclusion. It is evident from the above discussion that the owner has the right to repossession of the hire portion good if the hire commit a breach of the obligation under the hire portion agreement. Usually, not payment of installment, the governing statute on hire portion in Malaysia has been around for some time. Two is captures the important remedy of repossession that the owner can exercise in a hire portion transaction. There are gaps to fill in that provision regarding the enforcement for this all important remedy available to indemnify owner. There is no doubt, however, that the provision of the Act seems to be over protective of the hire. For example, the consequences of non-compliance with session safety by the owner tend to create an impression in the sale of business in her higher portion agreement. This is by virtue of Section 60, which imposes a penalty on the owner who failed to serve a Section 60 notice. The right of the owner under the hire purchase agreement who is and determined. It would seem that the owner would not be able to enforce any remedy given to him by the agreement to recover any amount from the hire. Thank you.